Welcome to the May 2018 Wine Club from Wine Access video series here. My name is Sur Lucero, Master Sommelier, and this is Vanessa Conlin, my co-worker here and good friend. We're going to take you through some really fantastic wines that we've selected that we think are going to be perfect on your patio, on your porch, in your backyard, that you're going to be able to enjoy with grilled items. Grilled picnics or even barbecue. So I can't wait to take it away. Vanessa?
Yeah, we're excited to taste with you, so let's get started.
All right.
The wine in my glass is the 2015 Matthiasson Napa Valley white wine. So this is owned by a local couple named Steve and Jill Matthiasson. They are the nicest people you can possibly imagine, but also quite renowned in Napa. Steve is a viticulturalist, so his specialty when he's not making this wine is helping other vineyard owners really perfect their practices in the vineyard so that they can make the very best wine that they can. He's worked with some of the most famous wineries in Napa Valley like Stag's Leap Wine Cellars and Arajo. And this is his own wine that he and his wife own. So the reason why it's labeled just as a white wine is because this wine really can't fit into any box. It's a blend of varieties that you probably know, like Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon, and also some that you may not know, like Ribolla Gialla and Tokai Friulano. So Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon are two grapes that go really, really well together. This is the blend, if you see a Bordeaux Blanc, the two varieties that would be in that white wine. So Sauvignon Blanc brings a great crisp acidity, lots of citrus and freshness, and Semillon brings a little bit more subtlety, this sort of waxy texture and chamomile to a blend. Ribolla Gialla and Tokai Friulano are two Italian varieties in this, and they provide a little bit of more apple orchard fruit and also some almond, and again, this great acidity in the glass. So something that's really important to me in a wine is acidity, and you shouldn't be afraid of that word. That's something that you want in a white wine or a red wine. And Steve has been making wine in this way for decades, where he's making it for freshness in the glass. There was a trend for a while in Napa Valley to pick things very late, so they got a little bit overripe. The acid would get a little flabby. He never went along with that trend. He's been making wine this way his whole life. And now everyone else has come full circle. They're back to making wine the way that he's been making this entire time. So this wine is truly authentic. It's handmade. I think it can appeal to people who like Sauvignon Blanc and also people who enjoy Italian whites as well. And in the glass, it's very aromatic. There's a lot of sort of citrus peel, that sort of raw almond that I was talking about, and a little bit of that apple fruit as well, almost like a fresh peeled yellow apple. On the palate, it's incredibly fresh. My mouth is watering. It makes me think of food. It's very pure. It's very clean. It's got those orchard fruit flavors and a little bit of this sort of beautiful texture as well on the palate. So this would pair beautifully with all these gorgeous fruits and vegetables that we're seeing come up in the farmers market this time of year. I go to the Napa farmers market every Saturday, and right now I'm buying these fresh peas, fava beans, tomatoes are starting to show up. This would pair beautifully with any of those summer vegetables.
The next wine in this month's wine club is a 2015 vintage of the Cotes de Rhone from Xavier Vignon, who is a very, very important wine maker, wine consultant within the Rhone Valley. Now we have two Rhone Valley wines within this particular month's club because they work so well with grilled food. So it's a pretty warm area, the Rhone Valley here. And they make wines that have a lot of generosity, a lot of ripeness, a lot of soft, kind of plush, rich, kind of sometimes even very powerfully tannic styles of red wines from Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, and several other grape varietals. Now, this particular wine, being from Cotes de Rhone, comes from a much broader, more general area than the next wine we have coming up. It has a little bit more of a soft, juicy, warm kind of profile to it. So we're not going to go with the most powerful things coming off of the grill here, but that soft, kind of ripe, forward lushness of fruit can work really well with things like hot links. I love hot links. Grilled pork chops, this could totally stand up to. It'd be great with a burger. but there's a beautiful amount of polish to this wine, and I really kind of want to talk a little bit, just briefly, about Xavier Vignon. Very important consultant winemaker, works on other projects like Chateauneuf, Chateau Renard. The Useglio family uses them, as well as the Roger Perrin label with the Perrin family under Beaucastel. He's done some consulting with them as well. So highly regarded. When he has access to fruit sources around the Rhone Valley, he probably has access to some of the best. And so this wine is beautifully polished, a crazy good value. You don't have to worry about pulling the cork on this and having it with a hamburger or a really beautiful uncured hot dog, because it's really going to deliver. It's not going to be as powerful or as intense or as tannic or even as complex as the Chateauneuf-du-Pape from him in this month's wine club, but it's really going to deliver and over deliver for the price. So feel free to take this wine anywhere, and then maybe leave the Chateauneuf in at your house and enjoy it for yourself whenever you get a chance. Beautiful wine, soft, polished, full, rich, great vintage 2015.
The wine I'm tasting now is the 2013 vintage of the Nicholson Jones Chardonnay Dolly Hill Vineyard in Carneros. So Carneros in Napa Valley is at the very southerly end of this valley. And it's a little bit counterintuitive for those of you who haven't been here, the way that the climate works here. But the most southern end is actually the coolest. As you get more north in Napa Valley, the weather gets hotter. And that's because of the proximity of the southern vineyards to the San Pablo Bay. So we get this fog in the morning here in Napa Valley that really cools things down. And being that it's the closest to that, Carneros stays the coolest of any of the other appellations in Napa Valley. So what you get from a Chardonnay from this area is a lot more freshness, a lot more acidity. The other thing that's happening in this glass in particular is that there's no oak on this Chardonnay. So if you're maybe have tasted a Chardonnay in the past and thought it wasn't for you because it was too oaky, maybe too vanilla, too baking spice, you should really give this a fresh shot. So it's very pure, it's very clean on the palate. What this does have going on in the glass is what's called malolactic fermentation. So don't be afraid by that word. It's something that happens naturally in wines. All red wines go through malolactic fermentation. And white wines, it can be a choice of the winemaker. We used to not understand this phenomenon, and it would happen or it would not happen in a white wine, but now winemakers can 100% control whether they want this to happen. And it's really a misnomer. It's not another fermentation. So you have alcoholic fermentation, and then it's really what it is a conversion. So it's the conversion of malic acid, so think like green apple, that real tart acidity, to lactic acid. So think that more soft acidity like you would get in milk. And so this happens naturally in the wine. So what you're having is this perfect balance here of a freshness of style, but still a real softness on the palate, sort of a rounded edge to the acidity. So it could appeal to both people who love that crispness of Sauvignon Blanc and to people who enjoy Chardonnay. It sort of bridges the gap. So this is made by one of our very favorite winemakers, Julien Fayard. He's quite famous. He's one of the most famous sought after winemakers in all of Napa Valley and a Wine Access member favorite in terms of winemaking. So he's crafted this. He's from France. He has a beautiful touch with this wine. So on the nose, there's a lot of floral notes to this. It's sort of this wildflower, fresh apple, sort of Meyer lemon, and again, no oak. Just pure fruit expression in the nose. Gorgeous. And the texture is really supple. There's this sort of fleshy peach note to it, nectarine, apple, really juicy fruits to this. It's not overripe. It has that softness of acidity. This could pair beautifully with a lot of different foods. So anything from the ocean, but it's got enough body that if you wanted to pair it with some chicken, maybe right off the grill, it would be absolutely perfect.
So the next wine selection in today's wine club is the 2012 Xavier Vignon Cuvee Anonyme. Essentially Cuvee anonymous. He's not really telling you exactly where he's getting his grapes or exactly what type of blend it is because it changes from vintage to vintage. This is a really powerful, rich, fantastic Chateauneuf-du-Pape that's going to stand up to anything that comes off of the grill. So Chateauneuf, warm area we talked about already, but power and concentration of this wine, the density, much darker fruit here than the Cotes de Rhone. So you get into some black fruit, you get into a little bit more of this lightly baked kind of profile. Plenty of red, kind of fleshy, opulent fruit as well. but now we have dried flowers and cracked pepper and this wild game, kind of garrigue, if you will. You know, if you're going to be doing like a lamb chop, you know, it's lightly smoky, or a pork chop, you know, or if you're going to be doing like some brisket, this is going to stand up to some of your slightly heavier sauces. One of the things that's really difficult with barbecue sauce or even grilling is that those sauces sometimes contain a lot of sugar, and those sugars can really wreak havoc on a wine that doesn't have enough fruit concentration to match it. This wine brings it. Definitely plenty of power, also plenty of polish and definition. I'm drinking it right now by itself, but I'm thinking about what I want to eat with it, and I'm thinking of different sausages. I'm thinking of different kind of red meats, for sure lamb, just because I love lamb, as well as beef, you know, pulled pork, you know, whatever you want to put it. This wine is up for the challenge. It for sure can elevate above a barbecued meal, you know, or a grilled meal, but I think it's perfectly situated for that. You know, when you're having, you know, 4th of July this year, you know, if you pull out some Chateauneuf-du-Pape from Xavier Vignon, we talked about how important of a producer he is and a consultant already as well, and this wine's just going to bring it. I'm absolutely enjoying it. I've Corvined this right now, and I'm taking the rest of the wine home tonight to enjoy. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed as much as I do. Cheers.
I'm tasting the 2014 Ponzi Vineyards Classico Pinot Noir from the Willamette Valley in Oregon. So this is the wine for summer when you want to drink a red wine, but you don't want anything too heavy. So this time of year, when it starts getting hot, I just want to be outside. I want to be grilling. I want to be eating sort of fresher, lighter foods. And so this is the perfect accompaniment to that. So Pinot Noir can pair beautifully with pork chops, with chicken. I really like it paired with, I'm a big salmon person, so I like this, you know, just simple salmon right off the grill, drizzled with some olive oil. It's perfect. So the reason Pinot Noir is sort of the perfect wine for this time of year is Pinot is a variety that has low tannin. So you can actually almost tell that just by looking at the color. So this is not a deeply pigmented color. I could read right through this if I needed to. And that's because it has those lower tannins. Tannins are not a flavor, they are a tactile sensation. So tannins come from the skins, the seeds, and the stems of red grapes. That's what gives the wine the color, and it's what gives it that sort of backbone on your palate. And what tannins do on your mouth is they actually have a drying sensation. They'll actually attach to protein. So if you've ever had a red wine and all of a sudden your mouth feels really dried out, that's those tannins literally attaching to the proteins on your tongue. But this is a lower tannin wine, and that's why it can pair more with seafood. You might not think that red wine can pair with seafood, but like I said, this is just perfect with a grilled piece of salmon. So Ponzi Vineyard, it's actually a family-owned property. Louisa Ponzi is the daughter, and she's making this wine herself. I just talked with her recently at a tasting here in San Francisco, and I really wanted her to verbalize to me what makes Oregon Pinot Noir different than Pinot Noir, let's say from Russian River Valley or Sonoma Coast of California. And what she explained to me is it's really the situation of this valley. It has a lot of cooling influences. It gets a much more diurnal shift, so cooling influences at night that slow down the ripening, but very, very long daylight hours in Oregon. So the effect that has in your glass is a much more fresh fruit note to it. So that rather than a really, really ripe fruit character, it still has this sort of fresh picked berry note in your glass. So tasting this wine, it's really perfumed. It has a lot of sort of red and black cherry, raspberry, strawberry. There's just a sort of touch of spice, this sort of cinnamon clove on the nose, and a little bit almost of a rhubarb note. And then tasting this wine, as I said, it has this sort of light backbone provided by the tannins, but it's still very, very round, very supple, very plush texture. It's very fresh. I don't feel like it's heavy at all on my palate, and I'm getting a lot of those sort of fresh picked berries, you know, strawberries, blackberries, cherries, just really vibrant, really exciting. It's got a lot of energy. I can't wait to drink more.
Next wine here on this month's wine club is a 2012 Talenti Brunello di Montalcino. And I usually would not select a Brunello di Montalcino to be the perfect grilling wine, except for we have the warm 2012 vintage, and we have a winemaker that makes wines in a more soft, forward, polished style, like Talenti. He does things like hand harvest all of its fruit, does a lot of sorting on a sorting table, getting rid of a lot of the berries, and he also does some stainless steel temperature controlled fermentation. Some slightly more modern techniques than the more traditional way. And the wines become a little bit more polished, a little bit softer, more fruit forward, and the 2012 warm vintage really kind of aided in that style. So you have something that's quite savory, red fruit dominant, and I really begin to think of things like grilled double cut pork chops and some really nice dry rubbed kind of like beer can chicken. If you ever had that before, Brunello would be a beautiful combination with both of those. Do you ever make the grilled beer can chicken inside the egg? If you have one of those eggs, those concrete eggs, they're crazy good with this particular wine. I actually had some of this wine not that long ago with that. Other things that I'm thinking of when I'm enjoying this particular wine is bratwursts, some really good spicy sausage with some mustard and so on and so forth. This wine is really going to hit its stride and find its element within that. And if you don't want to grill with it, why don't you just go ahead and make a Bolognese Pasta? I know I talk about Bolognese Pasta a lot, but if you make the true classical rendition of that particular recipe that you can find online, it's one of the most amazing things in the world. Softer, more open, fleshy style of Brunello di Montalcino is a beautiful thing. Talenti is one of those producers that delivers that year in and year out. Absolutely incredible. Hope you enjoy it. So in this month's wine club, we have the 2014 vintage of Chad's Proprietary Red Blend, which is absolutely perfect for anything coming off of the grill. The fruit sourcing and the winemaking kind of situation going on here is under full strict disclosure. However, the wine here right now, I can tell you, is absolutely fantastic, especially for the value that it brings to the table. I'm going to give it a quick taste. I tasted it a few times, but I'm going to do it one more time, and we're going to talk about what this wine brings to the table. Okay, black and blue fruits, plenty of concentration. Black currant, black cherry, makes me think that there's probably a good amount of Cabernet Sauvignon. There could be some, Merlot and some Petit Verdot as well, but there's also some spice elements as well that I'm picking up here. Almost this kind of black licorice, kind of really kind of fleshy, dark desiccated strawberry. This kind of dried, dark strawberry kind of profile to it. Think of anything coming off of the grill with this wine. Roasted chicken, anything dry rubbed, even like your pulled pork shoulder sandwiches, you just something that you're going to be, braising for a while if you're not going to be using this at a picnic, if you will. But I think these red blends coming out of California, especially if you can find some out of Napa Valley at this kind of price range, at this kind of price point, perfect for summer grilling and barbecue. With this type of wine, this type of quality, you can pull the cork at any time with this kind of value. So I hope you really enjoyed as much as I did. The Chad Red Blend, really over-delivering, giving lots of power and lots of richness in the glass for the money. Enjoy it sometime this summer. Cheers. Really excited to showcase the 2014 vintage here of Domaine de la Cotes Santa Rita Hills Pinot Noir. This is a really beautiful, elegant style Pinot Noir here out of the Santa Rita Hills, made by two gentlemen named Sashi Mormon and Raj Par. Raj Par, somebody who I look up to in the industry in regards to Burgundian varietals, has put together some really amazing wine lists throughout the Bay Area. And with this particular project, this would be their love child, if you will. 700 feet above the San Ynez River, 7 miles inland from the coast. Very windy, slightly cool area. The temperatures don't spike because of that proximity to the ocean. And what they're trying to achieve here is a little bit more restraint and elegance here. I think the 2014 vintage is really coming into its place right now. A very, very elegant, soft, kind of feminine style of a Pinot Noir that's more about nuance and elegance and finesse than it is about extraction and dark, deep concentration. So when you look at this wine, this month for the kind of grilling session, if you will, think of it almost as like if you serve it on the slightly cooler side as more of an aperitif style Pinot Noir. Even though there's plenty of like elegance and finesse and definition there and complexity. You kind of want to think of this wine as you don't want to try and match this with the big, powerful, kind of heavy styles of barbecue sauce and other things that are in the theme of this month's wine club. I would think about trying to enjoy those people who don't want to drink white wine, even though it's the summertime and it's 90 degrees out. Serve them a nice cool glass of this wine. They will absolutely be blown away by the amount of elegance and finesse that it delivers. Huge effort here by Sashi Morman and Raj Par. I absolutely love it. I'm really excited to offer it to you, and I think you're going to love it every bit as much as I do. And I'm going to take the rest of this bottle home.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the wines, and we will see you next month.